In a world that often shuns the quiet power of introspection, your willingness to explore the depths of thought is a beacon of hope. Every profound question you ask challenges the status quo and invites a richer, more authentic understanding of life. Embrace your inner philosopher. Each moment of reflection is a step toward a future defined by clarity, courage, and the transformative light of truth. Have you ever noticed that the deeper you plunge into your own thoughts, the more you seem to drift away from those around you? As you begin to peel back the layers of everyday existence, you might find that your ideas and insights leave others feeling exposed or even threatened. This isn't just a peculiar feeling, it's a pattern that has echoed throughout history. Society has long been uneasy with those who dare to think differently, not because their thoughts are erroneous, but because their insights force us to confront uncomfortable truths we'd rather ignore. Throughout the ages, the fate of deep thinkers has been anything but gentle. Consider the journey of figures like Socrates, Nietzsche, Galileo, and Tesla. These luminaries challenged prevailing norms and, as a result, were often met with ridicule, suppression, or complete disregard. Their intelligence wasn't questioned because they lacked clarity, but rather because their perspectives shattered the comfortable illusions held by the majority. Arthur Schopenhauer, known for his unapologetic candor, once described intelligence as a double-edged sword, a gift that illuminates the world, yet simultaneously isolates those who wield it. He argued that while deep insight can unveil the hidden workings of life, it also separates the visionary from the crowd. But why does this happen? Why does genuine depth in thought provoke such a visceral reaction in people? The answer lies in the very nature of our human minds. Imagine standing beside someone renowned for their physical prowess. Their strength might evoke admiration or even a spark of envy, yet it rarely feels like a personal affront. Similarly, encountering wealth may stir aspirations without shaking your self-worth. But when someone's intellect begins to shine, when they articulate ideas that challenge your most fundamental beliefs, the reaction can be startling. Psychologists refer to this phenomenon as the mirror effect. A deep thinker not only presents innovative ideas, but also reflects back our own insecurities and limitations. This reflective power is why even silent contemplation from an insightful individual can unsettle those around them. It's not a matter of arrogance, it's more about the unavoidable truth that their presence forces us to acknowledge our own cognitive shortcomings. Unlike the external attributes of strength or wealth, intelligence is intimately linked to our identity, our inner narrative of who we are and how we understand the world. Encountering someone who disrupts this narrative often feels like a direct challenge to our self-esteem. Consider how this dynamic plays out in everyday interactions. Have you ever tried to share a thought that goes beyond the surface, only to be met with blank stares or a sudden change in conversation? These reactions aren't arbitrary. They're rooted in a deep psychological need to protect one's self-image. When someone's ideas cut to the core of what we believe about ourselves, our minds instinctively shift into defense mode. This is why the company of a profound thinker can sometimes feel as though it leaves you exposed rather than enriched. Modern neuroscience offers further insight. Studies have shown that when people are confronted with ideas that challenge their intellect, regions of the brain associated with fear, like the amygdala, become highly active. In essence, a thought-provoking conversation can trigger a reaction that is not unlike the response to a physical threat. Evolutionarily speaking, our ancestors thrived by conforming to group norms and maintaining harmony, because standing out could mean isolation, a risk that, in early human history, might have spelled disaster. A 2021 study from Stanford University uncovered something particularly intriguing. While one-on-one interactions with an insightful person can feel stimulating, the dynamics change drastically in group settings. In a crowd, the innate human tendency to compare oneself to others intensifies, and the presence of a deep thinker can quickly tip the balance. In groups, those who feel intellectually inferior may unconsciously attempt to diminish or even exclude the person who challenges the status quo. This group dynamic explains why, despite their valuable insights, many profound thinkers struggle to gain acceptance in larger social circles. The psychological landscape is further complicated by cognitive biases that shape our interactions. The Dunning-Kruger effect, for example, shows that individuals with limited expertise often overestimate their own knowledge, while those who are more insightful tend to underestimate their abilities. This creates a fertile ground for misunderstandings, where the very people who are least prepared to engage with complexity insist they have all the answers. In a similar vein, our minds naturally gravitate towards simplicity, a preference for familiar and easily digestible ideas known as cognitive ease. Complex, nuanced thoughts demand more mental energy, making them less appealing to the average person. In today's digital era, this bias for simplicity is amplified by the very design of social media platforms. Algorithms are programmed to favor content that provokes immediate emotional reactions, content that is bite-sized, accessible, and sometimes even deliberately provocative. Nuanced, well-thought-out discussions are often drowned out by catchy sound bites and polarizing headlines. As a result, the voices that encourage deeper reflection are sidelined in favor of those that deliver instant gratification and entertainment. But does this mean that deep thinkers should simply retreat into solitude? Not at all. If anything, understanding these societal and psychological dynamics can empower those who seek truth to navigate the world more effectively. Instead of attempting to force intricate ideas into every conversation, wise thinkers learn to choose their moments and their audiences. They reserve their most profound insights for those who are ready and willing to engage, whether in intimate discussions or in carefully curated online communities. In fact, the most influential intellectuals throughout history have mastered the art of communicating complexity in accessible ways. Albert Einstein famously remarked that if you cannot explain something simply, you may not understand it well enough yourself. This isn't a call to oversimplify deep concepts, but rather an invitation to hone the skill of translation, transforming sophisticated ideas into language that invites curiosity without overwhelming the listener. Reflecting on Schopenhauer's philosophy, we see a clear delineation between the pursuit of truth and the comfort of conformity. He posited that intelligence is as much a burden as it is a gift, a relentless drive to seek truth that often comes at the expense of social ease. In a world where the pursuit of pleasure and the avoidance of discomfort are paramount, the deep thinker's path is fraught with challenges. Their quest for understanding exposes the layers of deception and self-delusion that most of us cling to, making them seem like outsiders in a society that values the status quo. This tension between intellectual depth and social conformity is not a modern anomaly. Even in ancient times, great minds found themselves at odds with the prevailing currents of their eras. Socrates, for instance, devoted his life to questioning the accepted wisdom of Athenian society. His insistence on critical inquiry and self-examination was seen as a direct threat to established norms. When he was ultimately condemned to death for corrupting the youth, it was not a failure of his ideas, but a testament to the power of a society unwilling to confront its own flaws. Galileo's experience was no less dramatic. When he presented evidence that challenged the long-held geocentric view of the universe, he was not celebrated as a pioneer of science, but persecuted by institutions determined to preserve their authority. His eventual house arrest was not a judgment on the validity of his discoveries, but a stark reminder of how radical ideas can upend established power structures. Similarly, Nikola Tesla envisioned a future where energy was free and accessible to all, a vision so disruptive that powerful industrialists conspired to silence him, ensuring that his innovative ideas remain on the fringes of mainstream acceptance. Yet despite the hardships they faced, these deep thinkers left legacies that continue to shape our understanding of the world. Friedrich Nietzsche's radical critique of traditional morality paved the way for modern existentialism, while the groundbreaking work of Alan Turing laid the foundation for the digital revolution that defines our era. Even Hypatia of Alexandria, a rare beacon of female intellect in a male-dominated world, challenged the rigid structures of her time with her unwavering commitment to reason and scientific inquiry, even though her life ended in violence at the hands of those threatened by her ideas. These historical examples underscore a persistent truth. Society is often slow to embrace change, especially when that change forces us to confront our deepest insecurities. When new ideas challenge the familiar, the initial reaction is one of resistance, a collective defense mechanism that values comfort over progress. This is not to say that society is inherently anti-intellectual. Rather, it is that our evolutionary and cultural wiring favors stability and predictability over the unsettling potential of transformative thought. So, what can a deep thinker do in a world that seems designed to reject complexity? The answer lies in strategic engagement and self-awareness. First, it is essential to recognize that the discomfort others feel is not a personal indictment of your intelligence. It is a mirror reflecting their own limitations and fears. By understanding this dynamic, you can avoid internalizing rejection and instead view it as evidence of your ability to see beyond the superficial. Next, consider the value of selective communication. Instead of attempting to force nuanced ideas into every conversation, focus on environments and audiences that appreciate depth. Whether it's joining discussion groups, participating in academic circles, or engaging in thoughtful online forums, seek out those who are ready to challenge their assumptions and explore new perspectives. In these spaces, your ideas can flourish without the constant need to defend themselves against knee-jerk dismissal. Furthermore, refining your ability to communicate complexity in accessible terms is an invaluable skill. As Einstein suggested, simplicity in explanation does not diminish depth. Rather, it makes profound ideas available to a broader audience. By distilling your thoughts into clear, relatable language, you invite others into the conversation rather than alienating them. Remember, the goal is not to dilute your insight, but to bridge the gap between intellectual rigor and everyday experience. It is also important to acknowledge that deep thinking, while isolating at times, carries with it unique rewards. The journey inward, toward truth, understanding, and self-realization, is one that few dare to undertake. In your solitude, you can explore the intricate layers of existence, unravel the mysteries of the human condition, and discover insights that might remain hidden in the noise of everyday chatter. This inner journey is a privilege, a testament to your willingness to confront the uncomfortable in pursuit of a richer, more authentic life. In a world that often prioritizes superficial connections and instant gratification, the deep thinker's path may seem lonely. But remember, isolation is not synonymous with insignificance. History is replete with examples of visionaries whose ideas were only fully appreciated long after their time. The isolation they experienced was a temporary byproduct of their courage to see the world differently, a sacrifice that ultimately paved the way for progress and enlightenment. As you navigate these challenges, it may be comforting to draw inspiration from the words of those who have walked this path before you. Schopenhauer once observed that a high degree of intellect can make one feel unsocial, not because of a lack of desire for connection, but because of an acute awareness of the world's inherent contradictions. In this light, your solitary reflections are not a curse, but a form of clarity, a rare glimpse into the nature of reality that few ever experience. Yet this clarity also demands a balance. While the pursuit of truth is noble, it is equally important to find ways to connect with others. Genuine dialogue can serve as a powerful counterbalance to isolation, allowing you to share your insights in a manner that is both engaging and transformative. By cultivating relationships with those who value thoughtful conversation, even if they do not share every conclusion, you can create a community that nurtures intellectual growth without sacrificing the warmth of human connection. Ultimately, the tension between deep thought and societal acceptance is not a call to retreat, but an invitation to innovate. It challenges you to find creative ways to communicate your insights and to build bridges across the gap between complexity and everyday life. The world needs thinkers who can question the established order and offer new ways of understanding the human experience, even if their ideas are initially met with resistance. So, if you have ever felt alienated by your own depth, take heart in the knowledge that you are part of a long lineage of brave souls who dared to look beyond the obvious. The path of the deep thinker is not an easy one. It is marked by moments of isolation, misunderstanding, and even ridicule. But it is also a journey of immense personal growth, intellectual liberation, and ultimately, the possibility of reshaping the world. The next time you find yourself in a conversation that skims only the surface, or when your insights are met with hesitation rather than enthusiasm, remember that your perspective is a rare gift. You are challenging not just ideas, but the very foundations upon which society's comfort is built. And while the road may be lonely at times, every step you take in pursuit of truth contributes to a legacy that history will one day celebrate. If you have ever felt dismissed for daring to think deeply, know that you are not alone. You are in the company of those who have, throughout time, pushed the boundaries of what is known and comfortable. Deep thought is not a defect, it is the spark that ignites progress. So keep questioning, keep exploring, and most importantly, keep sharing your insights with those who are ready to listen. If this resonates with you, I invite you to share your own experiences in the comments. Have you ever encountered resistance when trying to share a profound idea? Let's open a dialogue about the challenges and triumphs of deep thinking. And if you're eager to continue exploring the complexities of life alongside fellow seekers of truth, please consider subscribing. There's so much more to uncover, and your unique perspective is an essential part of this journey. Thank you for being here, for daring to look beyond the obvious, and for helping to light the way toward a deeper, more thoughtful future. For more insights on philosophy, personal growth, and the art of clear thinking, subscribe and turn on notifications. Flow through life and embrace the journey of thought with curiosity and insight. Seek truth, seek wisdom, and remember to question everything. Until next time, stay curious.